going out because of the fucking hurricane. So if it goes out again, I'm sorry.
Then you're stuck until she returns.
Exactly. Oh, this shit is annoying. Like, it would be fine if like it just went out, and stayed out. But it keeps giving me hope.
You
So
win
hopefully,
again, Mother Nature.
I know, right? Fuck. So yeah. The island that I'm on had a mandatory evacuation, and I stayed. So,
And
yeah,
we never saw her again.
I went out on the beach this morning, and I mean, it was all right. Now there's a lot of bumping in the night going on, but I'm hopefully, that my power stays on long enough for us to actually have some sort of conversation. So, hi everyone.
And by bumping in the night, she doesn't mean what she and Andrew does, because they only do that during the day.
Yeah, exactly. That already happened today. Hello, your boy Pat. How are you doing? I don't remember where you live. I think on the West Coast. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I hope everybody is staying safe during the storm and such. I'm doing okay. I have to leave Saturday morning to go to Charlotte for a special show that Andrew doesn't know about. Which actually I'm going to be painting some of it on stream because I have a few things to finish. But this is what I'm going to be giving to him. If you guys haven't seen my art streams, check them out, because I've been losing subscribers for some reason, even though I've been doing more and more streams. Very strange, YouTube.
There might actually be a reason for that, because YouTube just recently canceled like 17,000 channels.
Oh, yeah. True.
So maybe some of the subscriptions you've been losing is because
I didn't even think about that.
17,000 just went away. And of course, who are they going to get rid of? I mean, recently I found out that I got shadow banned, but then I looked today and my account now appears in the search results. It's like about a week ago. I searched through it and I could not find my account just typing in my name.
That's so strange.
Yeah. But now I can, but it does appear pretty low on the list. Then again, I haven't really done any videos lately, so that could be a reason why. But it's just like, it was so strange. I could not find myself on YouTube.
Yeah. So I don't have to work this week, obviously. And so I'm doing whatever I can to make a little extra money. But I've just been hanging out and painting stuff. That's my life right now.
Yeah, I've decided to try to get into car flipping. I've been watching Undercover Millionaire, which is a pretty good show. And it's basically about a millionaire who says that he can make $1 million in 90 days. But in order to do that, he has to pretend to be really, really poor and only has $100 to his name. And he's done pretty good so far, but it's kind of questioning if he's actually going to make it or not. But one of the things he was doing was flipping cars. And it's like, well, I think I could do that. And, it's funny to me is when people hear me talk about this, the first thing they ask is, do you know anything about cars? And I'm like, no. And it's like that. I guess that's a prerequisite to flipping cars, is you have to know something about cars. And the response to them is like, there's a woman who built her house, an entire house from scratch, watching only videos on YouTube. And if she could do that with no prior experience, why couldn't I work on cars just looking at videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, that's what an apprenticeship is. You watch someone do something and then you do it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way for me to learn stuff.
But to be fair, though, if it's a very complicated issue, I'd probably take it to a mechanic. But if it's
Yeah.
also a very complicated issue, I probably won't buy the car.
Right.
But I did recently get something that should be really awesome. It's what you call an OBD2 reader. Your car has this port in it that if you plug in something to it, it can give you information about your car. But this
Yeah.
one I just purchased, it just had a Kickstarter that ended today, so it was like really good timing. This one is super advanced. I mean, it tells you a lot about your car. So that's going to really help me when I go and look at cars. I can just plug this in and run a scan and make sure I'm not getting fleeced, or at least I know what's going on. It's just because a check engine light is on doesn't mean it's a serious problem. Just means it's on. But most of the time, it is a serious issue. So I've been doing everything I can to make sure that I can get a lot out of this because I haven't really gotten a whole lot of money from like doing these videos, and I
Yeah.
enjoy doing these videos, and I would love to do this full time, because I can't work a normal job. My writing hasn't really paid off. I mean, I am making money from How to Destroy a Woman Now, but that's not enough to support myself. So if I can like spend $1,000 on a car, fix it up, and then sell it for like $2,000 or $3,000, that would really help me out right now. So that's kind of the direction I'm going right now. And right now, I'm just trying to raise up funds. I'm trying to sell some stuff that I have around the house, like clothing. There are online consignment stores where you can sell your clothes.
Yeah.
So
I've tried doing that shit, but I'm not patient enough to list everything because everything that I've listed nobody wants. But
well, yeah, and of course, everything I have is men's clothing, and it doesn't seem like people really try to buy men's clothing online. So it does come
yeah.
with challenges.
Um,
But I'm in this with my mom, and she says she has just box of clothing. So hopefully there's something valuable in there.
yeah. I see Mark King in the chat. It's been a while since I've seen you. How are you doing? He says, looking good, Modern Medusa. Mad Cat is pretty hot too. And hello, Batman. How you doing?
I'm Batman.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I don't know if you probably. There we go. Now you can see it.
Modern Medusa turns men to stone.
No, I turned
The
men to
lower
bone.
half that is.
I turned men to bone, not stone. How thick is the storm right now? Not as thick as me. Oh, it's getting there. I mean, it's very windy and stuff right now, but it's not even. I don't think it's not even. It's not over 45 per hour mile winds. It's something around like 20 or 30 miles per hour, so it's not that bad. But yeah, do any rescuing? Maybe, possibly. I don't know. If you want,
Oh,
you can
come on. You're
donate
not a
PayPal.
damsel in distress.
PayPal helps. If you wanna save me, give you cool rewards and art and stuff. If you want, I could send prints of this thing. I'm trying to get a good picture of it so I can make prints of it.
So, did you just, I think I saw this, recently sell a painting of Doctor Who?
Yeah, I did. I was very lucky because my friend Sage or Slay Heron on Twitter. I don't know how you say it, but he shared my stuff. He was like, "Hey, check out her shit," and then a lady was like, "I think I will. What should I buy?" And I was like, "Well, I see that you like Doctor Who. How about this painting right here?" And she liked it. So, yeah, that was really awesome. I got to put that one in a nice home. That was one of the ones that I thought that I would never sell, but now I'm just like, meh. If someone wants it, then I might as well sell it for a decent price. I've had people offer really low prices for some of my art before, and I had to have like a long think about it, and I was just like, I can't. I have to either, if it's sentimental, then I have to either have a good amount of like monetary incentive, or it just has to not be as important to me, because like the ones that I don't work as hard on, I could give away for like $25 or whatever, like the big paintings, but the really special ones, those have to be given away for something else. How you doing on finding lovely ladies, says Professor Platypus. I think we're doing okay. We've got a couple people interested. No guarantees yet, but we have been looking. I'm going to turn this light down because it's way too fucking bright.
Yeah, we're kind of in a final crunch right now with the whole calendar thing, because we need to order the calendars by the end of the month if we're going to keep our November 2nd release. Actually, we want to try to release it before then as well, but we've had some girls unfortunately drop out. Life gets in the way. Things happen. We understand. We're not mad, but it does kind of leave us in a bind, because it's like, now we need people to and this actually happened in 2017, that, some of the girls we ended up using, we had to get at the absolute last minute. And there was even one girl who just flat out didn't do it, and we couldn't find anyone else to replace her. So we actually had to work our magic and use a low quality picture to make it look really nice. So
yeah, which, I mean, there's not much we can do about that. We try to give out a quality product, and we can only do so much with what we're given. So if anyone's disappointed, just let us know, and we'll try to do what we can. But it's really it's really just what we're capable of doing. What we do our best at. So
yeah. Also, it's like we're amateurs. We don't do this professionally, and I know no one's ever really complained about the product, but we actually put a lot of work into it. And at the end of the day, for me, the calendar, yes, the lovely ladies really do make the calendar, but this is a calendar celebrating men, saying, hey, men need our help. That's why we put the facts on there. And this year, doing the quick reference guide, which will still feature the lovely ladies. We try to get at least 2 photos, one for the calendar and then one for the book. And just going to list facts in there so you can quickly look through things to pull up some relevant fact of some conversation you're having online. Because that's what I do. I keep a really big file on my computer, so if I need to pull up some quick fact of someone I'm talking to, it's like a few weeks ago I did this, actually about a month ago. Someone was just spouting off some nonsense about how women need extra help in college, and I was able to demonstrate that no, women don't need any more help when it comes to college. Men need all of the help we can give them. And yet it's like, well, there's not enough women in STEAM because they choose not to be in it. In fact, Cat and the Fiddle sent me an interesting video on YouTube where this professor basically rage quit his job because he has one of the toughest courses in the STEM field. It's like some math class. And only 10% of women enter the class, but half of his students end up dropping the class. And pretty much all women drop the class. But one woman complained that he was sexist because the previous years, no woman graduated this class. No woman passed the class because it's really, really hard. And, they had like some gender awareness advisor come in, and it's like, well, you asked like 10 questions, but you only called on women twice. And he's like, I have 17 students in my class, and 2 of which are female. So it's like, if you really look at it, he overrepresented women by calling on the 2 women out of 10 questions. But it was just so funny, and they just kept telling him, like, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and
yeah,
gear your stuff more towards female students. And the thing is, this professor actually did a lot for gender equality on the campus. He set up labs just so women only could use them, so they weren't invaded by male students. He really,
seriously,
yeah, he did all of these great things, and yet they told him that he had to drastically change the way he taught the class, and he decided to quit. And what's most interesting is the female student that complained against him, they offered her to retake the class with a different professor. She refused, so they took the grade off of her GPA.
what a fucking retard.
Yeah, and that's what the whole thing was about. She didn't want a negative grade affecting her GPA, so she complained until they got it off of her record. And they took a really good professor and forced him to quit because of some stupid gender equality thing. Most girls are not good at math. Some girls are, but most are not.
I'm decent at math, but I don't like doing it. That I think is one thing that mostly influences women to stay out of certain fields, because they don't like it. They don't like working hard. Some people do. Some women do. That's totally cool. But a lot of women that I know would rather be sitting on their butts not doing something as hard. Either that, or they want to be in that position but with all the perks and none of the fucking cons. It's like, I dare one of these chicks to try and be president. Like, I bet once Hillary got Hurley all over. Once if Hillary actually got into office, yeah, Hillary. If she ever actually got into office, she'd be like, do I have to do this today? I'd rather get a massage. I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's like some women are just fucking lazy.
Well, Ocasio-Cortez is a prime example of what it looks like when a woman gets to office. Because, when you're a new senator, the best thing for you to do is just to kind of shut up and look at what is going on, understand how things work. And she comes right out of the gate with the Green New Deal, which was a completely bullshit thing anyways. Most of what was in there had nothing to do with the environment. And she's criticizing everyone around her. Well, if you don't agree with me, then you're a sexist, racist, misogynist.
Yeah, I was listening to something. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was listening to this thing that I heard the other day. It was just her talking to this, I guess, either a senator or congressman or something like that. I wasn't really sure, but she was talking to people about the, what's it called? The separation of children and parents or whatever. And she was basically just complaining about that. And the guy was trying to explain to her, like, do you realize that if a domestic violence situation were to go on and the man was harming the woman, I would take the child away. If a man was arrested for drug trafficking or something, I would take his children away. If anyone was arrested for anything, their children would be taken away. So either you do it legally or that's what's going to happen. And she's just like the fucking dumbest face you can see, just like, Okay, but they haven't done anything illegal. Seeking asylum is not illegal. And he's like, okay, and then they seek asylum the legal way. Oh, it's stupid. I still don't understand how she has any kind of position in anything other than the fact that she probably got lots of vaginas to support her. Oh.
Well, I think she represents a liberal district of New York that I don't know. I just kind of always got the sense that it wasn't that important of a place. Like it was a very small district. And she just managed to get a lot of support of I'm an underdog woman who really wants to live the American dream and really make change and blah, 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 blah. And people were more excited that she was just a bartender female than to actually question her politics. She said all of the right things and that she was like when she first got into office, she always talked about how poor she was and all of that. But then it's like when she first went to the White House, she had not White House to the Senate, she had no money and she needed to get a new apartment.
Yeah.
But then it was like the one thing people always criticize her for is like, you're wearing $1,000 dress.
Thank you.
You can afford that, but you can't afford, an apartment.
Yeah, that's fucking
and maybe it was donated to her. She probably had some sort of financial backing, but don't wear something like that and then tell me that you don't have enough money for your rent. Exactly. If someone is giving you dresses, someone can give you money for rent.
Right? What the fuck? I don't understand that shit at all.
But talking about Cat and the Fiddle, who we had on the show last week, I mean, her reaction to all of this is, it's like, I'm busting my chops doing all of this, and I'm meeting the expectation. But if you lower the expectation for all of these women, what does that say about me?
Exactly. Like, are they not capable? Do they not, like, do women just have no fucking, no agency, no fucking, like, no motivation or power to do anything, apparently? Like, come on. Actually, I'm going to look on my Facebook page. There's something that I saw recently that reminded me of that.
So, are you saying that you like when midgets fuck women?
Midgets?
Yeah, you said I like women with little man in them.
I just like, I do. I like women who are not stereotypical women, if that makes sense. Obviously, like, I prefer women who act like men, basically. Like, I have my girly traits, of course, but I try to think logically, realistically, not irrationally, like a lot of women do. I don't try to think with my feelings. I mean, like, so many women, it's sad.
I don't even mind all of that. If women want to be overly feminine, fine. If they want to be controlled by their feelings, fine. But take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for your actions. And to me, that is part of what being a man is. And we have to take responsibility 100%, like 150%, because I just saw a post on, it was either Facebook or Twitter, where a woman was saying that women are not responsible for getting pregnant because it was man who did it. Men should be held 100% responsible for pregnancies. And it was like, even in the most absurd way, we are held responsible. And we have to own shit. I just want more women owning their shit.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, some women do, but it's like, it's so rare. And it's like, women love to play the sexist card so much. It's becoming like
a joke.
Yeah, well, it's becoming almost like what's it called? The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Like, sexism, sexism, sexism. And then when something actually like misogynistic happens, it's gonna be like, yeah, but what about this too? Like, people aren't gonna fucking know like what to fight for anymore because air conditioning is sexist now.
Mm-hmm.
So stupid.
Or taking a really tough math class is sexist now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not even that women are complaining that's the problem. Complain all you want. It's that so many others are capitulating to them.
Exactly. Like, you can complain, but don't fucking bend your fucking knee. Like, Jesus.
But like this college, they decided to side with the girl because they were too afraid of getting sued. So they forced this college professor to change how he teaches because not enough women are passing. But they don't really seem to care that they're not getting enough male students.
No.
Not doing anything to try to improve the male population. That's like a report that I found said that 50 cent by 2020. Actually, it was 2026, but it said that 57% of the college population will be female.
Yeah.
57%. It'll probably be higher than that, too, with the way things are going. And where's the concern? Where's the outrage? There is none.
Nowhere.
Too many women are complaining that they're being oppressed when they're not. And everyone around them is like, oh, you poor thing. We'll make sure all of the bad men don't harm you in any way. You, sir, you are fired. You have to get out of here. You're expelled because she claimed you raped her, even though you weren't even in the same time zone.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think men as a whole should boycott college. Because one, you can learn almost anything on the internet. Two, there are a lot of trade jobs that get you a lot more money in life, and you don't have this overwhelming debt that for college that basically
the how much they make you pay is ridiculous. Books do not need to cost that much, first of all. Like, just that fact is fucking absolutely insane.
Books shouldn't cost that much at all. They only overcharge because they have to hire like 4 gender equality officers to help improve gender equality on the campus. But you already have it. Women control everything. You already have the gender equality you want. Why do we need to hire 4 women to do the same job that basically has already been accomplished? And that increases the cost of going to college.
Because no one will ever be happy until no one ever gets, or no woman ever gets raped ever again. Even men.
That will never happen because women will always claim they're being raped. Exactly. I mean, they're raped. If
every man took a vow of abstinence
too long, I raped her.
It wouldn't matter. Like, a woman could have a dream about someone raping them and fucking complain about it, and they fucking win. I bet that's happened before.
Yes, it has happened, but there has, well, not in a court case, but in a college setting. There was a woman who got raped, like the previous year, and then she went to school across the country, and saw a male student that she walked by every single day and said, he looks like my rapist. I'm triggered. I don't want to see him again. And the college forced him to stay away from a certain section of campus. Unfortunately, his job on campus was in that location. So he could no longer attend his job just because he looked like a rapist that had raped a specific girl.
I hung out with a man who looked like a guy who had molested me, and I was upfront with him about it, and we talked about it, and we had a bonding experience, and we ended up being friends. Why can't you fucking grow the fuck up and grow some lady balls and get the fuck over it? Stupid.
Or let that guy molest you. Whatever.
Yeah.
If he's going to be charged for raping you, let him have the chance to rape you. So,
oh my god. Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
And I agree with Mark King in the chat here. Trades are the best route for success. There will always be work and it pays well. And, I kind of wish I went that route. Actually, I wish I went into game design in all honesty, because there's always opportunity for that. And I was actually trying to get into it before my injury happened. And I was teaching myself how to do programming. I mean, I knew a little bit, but I was going to get into Java development and all of that. But I didn't go to school for that. And so my injury happened and kind of knocked me out of contention for that. I was all set to do it. I was probably a couple of months away from telling my boss to go kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, not even just trade jobs. I mean, you can get a computer job real easily. Like, I have a bachelor's of science in computer networking. I actually regret getting my bachelor's degree. But most of the jobs that ever hired me cared more for the fact that I have an A+ certification and not my bachelor's.
Oh, really?
It's like, that's nice you have a bachelor's. Oh, you have a specific certification that proves you know what you know about computers.
Right.
And it's like, if I had just gotten my A+ certification, I wouldn't have this overwhelming debt and would have been able to get into the job market a lot faster. Because before I went to college, there was such a demand for people who knew about computers. And after I left college, there was an oversaturated market. Everyone knew about computers, so everyone was getting jobs, and I got stuck doing tech support.
Mm.
I wish someone would have told me back all those years. It's like, hey, college is a waste of time. Get your A+ certification, and then you can get yourself a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, at least you had some idea of what you wanted to do.
Well, truthfully, I always wanted to be a writer, and I am a writer now. But, the thing about being a good writer is you need lived experience. So,
yeah.
and I also wanted to be a teacher. Now I am a teacher, so.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hell you.
honestly, I just wanted a fair shake at life where, I made decent money. I had my own place. I fucked a lot of chicks, got into a relationship, got married, had children, and lived happily ever after. But, like so many men, I was naive of that ever really being a possibility.
Mm.
I mean, before I started it, the system was stacked against me.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of relate in some ways just as an artist, because it's like, unless you're discovered for one like extravagant thing, then you're never really gonna make that much money. And like, I've been trying to do the YouTube thing for like 4 years or something, and I've sold like 3 paintings, I think. Which is awesome, but I wish that I could do it more without having to work as much, so that I could work on more art that I want to do, if that makes sense. But I don't know. I'm trying my best. I'm hoping that, something like this, fan art, it seems to get a lot of attention, so we'll see.
Well, I recently had an episode with a friend of mine because I announced publicly that I'm flipping cars, and I don't think it'll be an easy thing to do. I think it'll be a very challenging thing to do, and I'm probably going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. I have no disillusion about that. But a friend of mine, it's like, well, why don't you finish some of your book series that you have out? And I'm like, well, it's not making money. It's like, but you'll make money once you finish it. And maybe that's true. But it's like the only book that I've really been able to sell that kind of just sells itself is How to Destroy a Woman Now. The one book I wish was not on the market. I don't want to be known for that shit. But it is making money right now, and that money helps me. But it's like, I wish that I could just sit down and write all of these books that I want. That's all I did all day long. But that's not realistic. No one's buying my shit. So I need to focus on what's going to make me the most amount of money. And yes, it's flipping cars. Right now, that's my best option to try to build up my life a little bit so then I can get to the next stage of my life. But it's just like this person was just like, well, that's such a hard thing to do. You need to focus on doing this. And it's like, there's no guarantee that if I finish my books, people are going to buy them. I mean, most people are not buying my books as it is. And, I think that I could make it as a writer. But, I've got to take care of my finances first. I need to be in a position where I can focus on that 24/7. And right now, I can't. So do what I can, build myself up, sell a couple of cars throughout the year. Arizona limits me to 4 cars a year.
What?
Yeah, you're limited in how many cars you can flip in a year without a dealer's license, which is really, really expensive.
That's weird.
No, the car industry is a mafia, basically.
I see. Having sex with multiple women is overrated anyways. Dating is uneventful and repetitive as hell to the point it's dull. I can understand that for like traditional dating. Dating isn't really what it was before, I feel like, but it could be the same for some people, if that makes some sense. Like for me, a date is just like hanging out with someone, but for other people, a date could be going out somewhere, spending money on them, and hopefully taking them home. But for me, I've already had a conversation about the person of whether or not I want to have sex with them. So it's like, I don't know. That's just how modern times are. I don't know if it works that way for everyone. For some people, I know it's a lot more difficult because you don't know if they are gonna like you or not. And in that sense, yes, dating is very, very stressful, and I would not recommend it.
There was a video where a girl decided to start dating women exclusively, kind of more as a social experiment. And because of it, she discovered that men really do have a lot of problems dating, that women are just bonkers. Like she described how a couple of the women she went out with, she was quite certain they were wanting a free meal because when the check came, they expected her to pay for it. And then she never heard from them again. Yeah. And she was talking about how I always criticize my male friends that's like, oh, so just because you paid for the meal, you expect there to be sex? And it's like, well, you're not expecting it, but, it's like, if you're not going to have sex with someone, at least, throw in half. But it's not men really expect this. We just don't like being taken advantage of. And
right. Exactly.
When she experienced it, she's like, oh, now I understand it. And it's like, and it goes to a deeper issue that women really have no empathy for men. But when it comes to dating, I mean, when I'm in my early 20s, I want to fuck a lot. And yes, I still want to fuck a lot right now, but it's less of a desire. I'd rather just have one good partner. But it's like, I feel like that was an experience that I didn't get to have. I wanted to have a lot of sex. I had a fair amount, but nothing that was ever substantial. But one of my greatest experiences was when I was in the BDSM community, and I got to do a lot of BDSM related activities. Sometimes as a top, sometimes as a bottom. And I wish my disability didn't happen, so I could have continued to explore that world. But even if I was cured tomorrow, I wouldn't go back because having gone through what I did, I realized those people were pieces of shit. And I want nothing to do really with the BDSM world except for anything private that me and a partner might want to do. But beyond that, no thank you.
Yeah.
Saying that, I still had some good experiences with that, and that's what life is all about, experiencing new things. And I just wanted to have a successful enough life that I could try. I've always wanted to do like that swordfish fishing. I forget what you specifically call that. But and being on a boat and being tied to a rig and trying to reel in a swordfish or a marlin or whatever, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Why can't I go and do that? Oh, because I have no money, because I haven't been a success in my life.
Hey,
So
come down here and you have better chances.
I have a better chance of a marlin attacking me than I do have it catching it. Like, I caught it! It's attached to your leg, but I caught it! Deep sea fishing, thank you. Lord Nuggles. Oh, Nurgle. I thought it was Nuggles. Lord Nurgle wants to know how you do.
Lord Nurgle, how are you? I haven't been doing okay. I'm in the middle of a hurricane, but I'm good. Oh, look at his beautiful face. Look at it.
Well, I just posted a thing on Facebook how a man, his wife left him, and he was fired from his job because he had no one to take care of his 5 children, and is now homeless. Someone just asked me, it's like, well, how can we help? And it's like, raise awareness, because he can't find a shelter that will take him and his children. Very, very few shelters actually exist that allow men to bring their children with them, much less 5 children, but still. And what was funny to me in that article was, if the situation had been reversed, they would have been lambasting the man, saying, oh, how horrible this man was to, walk out on his responsibility. But there was none of that in the article for this woman who left their home. And it's like, we don't know the circumstances in which she left, but it's like, you have 5.
I mean, there's really no excuse.
Left.
Yeah.
And even if you wanted to separate, even if you wanted a divorce, I mean, you could have still watched the kids while the man went to work.
Right?
So he could have
abandonment. That's abandoning everything. Then she probably had a new she just wanted to go to a new dick. Like, that's what some dudes do. They get families, they make families, and then they leave the woman, and they go and get another family. That's exactly what some women do, too. Like, it's a fucking stupid cycle, and that's why you do a prenup.
But, it's like the guy did everything right. Okay, maybe he had one too many kids, but, he got married. He had
when you think you're going to be with someone forever.
And then one woman decides, well, I'm going to do my own thing, and now he's living on the street. I mean, thankfully he has a car, but that's not really a great thing.
Exactly. What's going to happen to those children? They might go into fucking, what's it called?
Foster care?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tis a sad world we live in.
But it's like, this is why we're doing what we're doing. We want to raise awareness for men, because, I mean, there's nothing that me and Modern Medusa can directly do right now. So we're asking people for a little bit of money to make a calendar so we can spread it out. Because if more people become aware of it, then people are talking about it. If people are talking about it, then it disseminates upwards. You tell your congressman, hey, what are you doing about this issue of male homelessness or male suicide rate or lack of funding? And they take that to Washington, because generally they do what their constituents want, because they want to be reelected again. And that's how change happens. But it's a very slow process. But it has to start with raising awareness. Raise awareness of the problems are happening. Unfortunately, we kind of have our hands tied behind our back because there's so many forces out there that is trying to keep it from ever hearing, having a voice at all.
I apologize for the constant wind. There's not much I can do.
Yeah, people thought there was a lawnmower going on inside. I don't hear it, in all honesty.
Someone said, excuse me, Professor Platypus said he's leaving, and good luck finding foxy females to me. Thank you. Honestly, I'm not even really looking for any recently because they're so dramatic and hard to deal with, but I appreciate that.
Well, I'm looking.
Yeah.
But it is a challenge because, and I don't hold any ill will towards women or people in general. This is just human behavior. But, it's like so many who wanted to be a part of this that eventually dropped out were like so gung ho about doing it. It's like, yes, I want to do it. I want to do what I can. I want to raise awareness. Oh, I'd love to take sexy photos of myself. I'd love to be a part of, there's just so much excitement. And then it was like our due date was the last day of last month. And so many hadn't actually finished yet. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you knew about this for several months, like at least June, you knew about this. And it's real life gets in the way. I understand. You keep putting it off. You'll say, I'll do it next week. And next week comes and you don't do it. You can't be angry at people for what is effectively human nature. But it does kind of leave us high and dry because it's like, well, if you're out, we need to find someone to fill the spot and try to do the photos within less than a month.
Yeah.
And, it's a rewarding experience. I love doing these calendars. You have to love it if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, it's like Medusa said last week, unless we're at some booth somewhere at a convention and women come up to us and we take a photo of them right then and there to use in our calendar, it's just, there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and it's probably why this is going to be the last one we do.
Yeah. Which is why you should buy one now.
Well, actually, I rather do a lot of the work, in all honesty. Me and Medusa would. Like, sometimes they do the editing for themselves, and then
Ask them not to.
poorly done. And it's like, well, we need the originals. So, and then with the originals, we end up making a better product. Because I'm not saying that the edits themselves are bad. It's just they don't know what it is that we need. So if we can take the original and transform into what we need, that ends up being better. And I'm not trying to throw the girls under the bus. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with what the girls have given us. I'm very happy that we're going to be able to put some images together. We might have to have some repeats or maybe some art pieces thrown in to cover it, to make up for the loss that we've had. But, many of the girls that have managed to send us photos, we're very, very happy about.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's what Brad Young said. It's like they want you to do all the work for them. And it's like, that's all well and fine. I don't mind. I'm a bit of a control freak in that way, but I can't take the pictures for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm mostly lacking the boobage. But I don't know. But it doesn't mean that Lovely Ladies is going away. We are wanting to expand in other ways. We're thinking of maybe trying to do something more on a month to month, maybe through, YouTube, Patreon, or something. Because we that we've built ourselves a product and we want to see it become successful. We want to raise awareness for men, but we know that the best way to do that is to have women, because people give a shit about what women have to say. And I think Medusa froze out on us. Yep, she froze out on us. She'll return in a little bit. So, I mean, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But, we want to really continue with this. And we're happy with everything that everyone has helped us in doing this. That's how delicate of a painter she is. She can be very still until she knows the right stroke. I was going to go get a drink, but I'll wait till Medusa gets back. But, posting that article about the man, I talked about male privilege. Men have privilege, men get this, men get that. It's like a man is in need of serious help. I mean, you throw in the fact that it's young children that need help, and where's his male privilege? It's non-existent. There is no male privilege for him. He is basically on his own. Now, he might be able to get some donations. He did talk about, people giving him money here and there, but, it's not enough. And I've been homeless myself, and yeah, some people gave some money here and there, but it was just, it's not really easy to do. And at least he has a van, so at least his children can be warm at night. And thankfully, it's the summertime right now. But once winter hits, that's just going to be. Take care, Brad Young. Hope you have a good night as well. And I mean, we could just raise money and help him out, and that'll be well and great. But that doesn't really solve the problem. We need to raise awareness that this can happen. But as far as we know there's a huge male homeless population problem. And it's not even just that there are no jobs available, because there are jobs available. I mean, when I was in the shelter, there were men who had full-time jobs that still had to live in a shelter because it just cost money. Hey, Medusa.
Oh, donate to help my situation. It can't turn the power back on, but it can get me more food. Oh.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Well, I was talking about how we need to raise awareness for homeless men. And what I specifically said is, yeah, we could raise money to help this guy with 5 children, but that doesn't really solve the problem. Because there's going to be another and another and another. And we can't just keep raising money for all of them. But the crazy part is that we know that there's a huge male homeless population. Like when I was in the shelter in Philadelphia and in Detroit as well, there were people there that had full-time jobs that were living in a shelter because the cost of living is so high. And it's like we always talk about how we need to raise the minimum wage. Well, raising the minimum wage won't help at all. If anything, it will reduce the number of jobs. What we need to do is we need to lower the cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and
That's true.
what I think's really happened is like because of the recession and everything increasing in price, now we recovered from the recession, but the prices haven't. They're still high like they were during the recession. We need to return back to where it was actually somewhat affordable to live on your own. That you didn't need to live with roommates. That the breadwinner, man or a woman, could go work a job and the other partner stay home with the children. I don't care if that is a man that's staying home with the children or a woman staying home with the children.
Right.
But children need constant attention. And this is what we need to do to make America great again, is to make it affordable to live. I mean, illegal immigrants want to come into this country. Well, send them to California because most people are living out of tents
Yeah.
because they can't afford to live in California.
My mom left because it was getting ridiculous. Did I tell you that?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say,
that
for a moment, I need to go get something to drink.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask if I've ever told you that my sister got beat up by a Mexican girl gang.
No, you've never told me about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my mom, I was born in California, for those who don't know. Most of my family was. So my mom moved back there. What?
I said it explains the hair.
But my mom moved back there, and I didn't want to, so I stayed here. But, so she got a job. She had a few jobs, but most of them were like either caregiving or trying to be in like a educational setting. She wasn't really having much luck with that. But basically, my mom couldn't find any jobs because every time that she would try to move up somewhere, they would favor diversity. And she wasn't diverse enough because she was white. And besides that was just one of the reasons that my mom wanted to leave, because she couldn't get any good jobs. But also, my sister she was only like 13, 14 at the time, maybe. And she would go to school and get harassed by multiple Mexican girls. And one time after school, they tried to basically jump her, and she got away, but like, what do you like? They wouldn't
what? Did she freeze again? Yeah, she froze again. Yeah, I once got jumped by a Mexican when I was in school, and he was just, it's just so funny to me. He was just a little tyrant, but it was like the biggest stereotype too, because it was him, a big fat bully, and he had his posse, which was two white guys. Two people that I had been sort of friends over the years, but when Bubba, and that was his name, Bubba, moved in, they suddenly just became a little gang around the neighborhood. And he was always trying to pick fights with me. And just like one day, and I'm not very proud of this, but it happened. I was probably around 15. Him and his cronies come up to me, and he like ducks behind me, and one of his cronies just pushed me over him. But I know he was the one who instigated all this. So I started wailing into him, but it's like, Wolverine fighting the Blob. I mean, he sticks his claw in and he can't get it out. I mean, he's just so blubberous. So, I punch him a few times and he's just sitting there laughing at me. And look at me, I'm not really a strong person. Ooh, I got a little. So we get up and we're just kind of staring each other down. And then he decides to tie his shoe, and I just kick him in the face. Like, just run up and whoa! Right into his eye. Because it's like, that's how he valued me. It's like, he thought that I was just such a weakling and worthless person that he could tie his shoe in the middle of a fight. And I took advantage of that situation. And from that day on, he never bothered me again. And again, I'm not very proud of that, but at the same time, when you're in a fight, you're in a fight. And, you don't underestimate your opponent just because you think so little of them. And I don't care if that he beat me up, but it's like, at least I stood my ground. I don't know if the storm is killed. I mean, we're still going right now. When she gets back, we'll probably go for a little bit longer and then kind of shut down from there. Kind of curious if Steven Crowder got Dave Chappelle to come on his show. Oh, I guess not. They're just going to talk about sticks and stones. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say right now. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Feel free to ask them and I'll answer your questions. I know all of you just really want to look at Medusa, and why not? She's a very beautiful woman, but
oh, thanks.
A lot of shit.
Buffering. Did the storm kill YouTube too? Possibly. Yeah.
So your sister got jumped by Mexican chicas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was. It was at school, and what's it called? The principal wouldn't do anything about it until my mom raised hell, which always happens. But yeah, I honestly don't even know what happened. I just know that she was jumped by Mexican girls of 13 or 14, not that old.
Well, I just told a story about how I was jumped by a posse in my neighborhood.
Really?
It was a very small one. I used to be friends with everyone, but then this Mexican moved in, and his name was Bubba, and he was the stereotypical. We were friends at first, but then for some reason he just wanted to pick fights with me all the time.
That's weird.
And it was him and his two white cronies. So they were just kind of a gang that walked around all the time. And one day he got in a fight with me, and it ended up with me kicking him in the eye because he decided to tie his shoe in the middle of the fight.
Oh my god. What? Are you serious?
Well, when I got jumped by Mexicans, I mean, we're talking I don't know, I'm almost 40 now, so 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The age that Medusa is.
Yee. A border fence convention. Why is everyone getting jumped by Mexicans?
Actually, it's worse than that because if you have any sort of minority status in this country and you are bullying other people, you get a certain level of protection that white people don't get. Oh, principal, this Hispanic or Muslim or lesbian is beating me up. Well, what did you do to start it? I didn't do anything. I was just minding my own business. Well, you're white and they're a minority, so we're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then the parents comes like, well, why aren't you doing anything for my kids? They're a minority status. We're not going to do anything.
Ah, God damn it, my fucking internet just surged again. It might not go out though. Are we good? Oh, all right. Scarfy the Strain said, "You sure you didn't just tell him the shoe was untied?" That would be a good strategy. And if he fell for it, that'd be funny.
I wish I could take credit for that, but no. He just decided to do it. Well, he was trying to insult me in doing that move. He's trying to say, hey, you're not important enough for me to consider a threat, so I'm just going to tie my shoe. And boy, did he regret that. I mean, if his face was a football, it probably would have gone 30 yards. Speaking of a Mexican, it's Stone Mexican Guy. And Medusa is gone. I'm guessing you messaged Medusa. Can you tell us more, Professor Art, how you've been a victim of racism, even though it was other black people doing it? Leaning forward at the right time to freeze. Yeah, that is definitely true. Um, if you're not black enough, or thug enough, or ghetto enough, then you're not really black. And if you even try to have any sort of logical thinking or intelligent thought, then you're Uncle Tom. The blacks against blacks is probably the most racist there is. I mean, we talk about racism in this country, but people are just talking about whites versus everyone else. But it's like there's racism within these communities. There's racism within the Muslim community. There's racism within the black, the Hispanic, and it's against each other. And I would dare say that there's more racism in that than a single white person against any other minority. I think white people are so scared of minority that they would do everything they can for there not to be racism whatsoever, even at their own detriment. So anytime I hear, oh, we live in a racist country, it's like, yeah, but it's your community that's doing it. I mean, Milo made that really famous post where it shows all the black deaths, and you got this big bar here about um, blacks killing blacks, and then you got this small little bar of police killing blacks, and Milo points it to it and is like, this is what the black community is so angst about. And of course, you can't say that. YouTube's going to take down this channel because now I'm racist for saying there is a big black on black violence problem in America. So Professor Art says they used to jump Haitian kids every time before school would start, and they would target me by shouting racist crap like "Your kind created AIDS," and they hated how I wasn't like them. Now imagine a white person saying that to a black person. Hey, your kind created AIDS. We're going to fight you. That person would probably be expelled and arrested because he's white. But if it was a black person, oh no, that's okay. And Professor Art goes on to say, and I'm an American just like they are, but they would treat me as if I was their lesser. Yeah? It's what we call in-group bias. We have a group, everyone is good in our group, everyone outside of it is our lesser. And if anything, they were probably doing that because they secretly or subconsciously wanted you a part of their group by acting like them, for you to become the thing that terrorized you. And a lot of people actually do that too, especially feminists. They want to shame men so much that they become male feminists.
I'm back.
Well, some people said that you froze just at the right time. I'm guessing because we could see down your shirt or something.
Oh yeah. Nice. I've smoked weed with people who flag Nazi shit. That's funny. So yeah, the power keeps going out if you don't know what's happening. Because I am in the middle of the hurricane, but my trailer is strong.
Well, Professor Art was telling us a story because we got into a discussion of racism because of Mexicans who jumped your sister. And he was explaining that as a black male, he's been beat up by other black people and yelled racist shit at him. And what he specifically said is, I guess he is Haitian, even though he's an American. And he's like, the other black kids would yell at him and say, "You created AIDS."
That's so fucked up.
And it's like, can you imagine if a white student said that to a black student?
Yeah, holy fuck. Yeah, I saw someone commented that black people hate on other people who aren't as black. It's so strange. I mean, I'm sure that there are Latino what's it called? Rivalries as well, like between Cubans and Puerto Ricans or something like that. You know, I'm sure everyone has their biases because everyone has to for some reason. I don't know why it's like almost. It seems like human nature to have bias against something for some reason.
Yes. It's called in-group bias. But, you know, you talk about different Hispanics. Go up to a Puerto Rican and ask them if they're Mexican.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I had a Puerto Rican friend that would get really mad when you called him Mexican. And then I also had...
Having identity is one thing and all, but my biggest problem with all of this is that everyone tries to claim it's white people who are the problem, and the biggest amount of racism we see is within these communities, such as the black community or the Muslim community or the Hispanic community. And some of the most sexist people in the world are feminists. They're sexist to other women in a much worse way than they accuse us.
Exactly. People they call me a whore. They call me all kinds of things, saying I should die. And it's like, oh yeah, you're very loving towards other women, I see.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you should die sucking dick, but you know.
That would be nice.
But yeah, I mean, once you're in a group, you judge anyone who's not in your group as being, a traitor. You have your enemies, but then you have your own kind that is not acting like you, and they're the worst person of all.
Right.
I was talking about black on black violence. I'm like, well, YouTube's going to take down our channel now because I'm talking about blacks killing other blacks.
Right. I mean,
That's
people don't like to talk about gang violence.
I mean, we're having a problem in California now where blacks are afraid to leave their houses because MS-13 is patrolling the streets. That Mexicans beat up black people. You don't see that on the news, though, because then that would claim that illegals are getting in here that are violent, and that doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. It doesn't even have to be about race, but if they are a minority, to be against another minority for any reason, be it drug related or whatever, or race related, people don't want to talk about it because they're not white people killing white people.
But they'd rather talk about how some white supremacists did a parade and carried tiki torches. Like, this is proof of white nationalism. They want to talk about how Donald Trump is a white nationalist. Is like, well, he didn't do anything to discourage it. He specifically said that white nationalism and the KKK is bad. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not enough for me. It's like, what the fuck do you need? Oh,
Right.
It's because he's white and it's because he's powerful. And it's like, address the actual issues are going on. Stop creating shit. If there's a white person being racist, point him out and we'll all deal with him. We'll all say he's a piece of shit. But you find a Mexican beating up a black person and you want to keep your hands off of it because it would be racist to indicate that either person is responsible for the situation.
Oh, something I do want to talk about that is changing the subject quite a bit. Did you want to say anything else about that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, did you hear about Johnny Depp winning his suit against Amber, whatever the fuck her name is?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, so this was barely in the news because nobody fucking feminists don't want to talk about it because that means that a woman lied. Oh no. But yeah, so if you don't know, Johnny Depp was accused of beating his wife and he proved her wrong and won a defamation suit against her, and now she's probably not going to be barely affected at all. So yay! I mean, it is a good win because at least he wasn't actually charged with anything without there being any evidence, especially because he had evidence against her. So that's a really good thing for men in general. But it's not going to change the fact that men aren't seen as people who can be hurt by women. And
misanthropic.
Yeah, he always comes in my fucking chat, and the first thing he says is just sex. Are you trying to get me banned?
Well, I've been promoting DTube lately, which is not a great system, but I think if a lot of us started joining it, it could be a great system. Basically, no video can be taken off of their system. And there's a lot of porn there, too. But I'm hoping it's a good replacement for YouTube. So if you want to see some sex and some political commentary, head over to DTube. And no, D doesn't stand for dick. It stands for decentralized.
I just tried to type, I'm going to suck your dick clean off. And StreamYard had a pop-up that said, YouTube rejected your comment. Try changing it. Oh my god. I'm sorry that wasn't PC enough for you. Was it the dick part or the sucking it clean off part? Was it the violence or the sex? The sexual part. I want to know.
Well, in this
Which is more
country, violence is always more preferable than sex. I mean,
well, sex is
young
seen as violence
boy,
by some feminists.
you can show young boys a man getting his head decapitated while a killer robot is gunning everyone down, but to show him tits, that's somehow bad.
Exactly.
But we talk about Johnny Depp. I'm also thinking of like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. They got a divorce. The first thing she was is, "Oh, he used to abuse me and the children." And I'm like, I don't believe that, not one bit.
Did you really? I never even heard that.
Yeah.
Probably because it just got blown over as a fucking rumor.
Well, it was actually pretty public that they were getting a divorce, and then and they actually have like I guess 6 adopted children from Africa or whatever. And I think it was a custody issue, and she was saying, "Oh, well, he abused me and the children to try to win the children." And I don't know much about their marriage, and maybe he was, but it felt so like the playbook when a woman's playbook of getting divorced, accuse him of abuse so you can get custody of the children.
Yeah,
and especially making it public too.
Right. Exactly. You can't just say it and keep it quiet between you in the courts, even if it's not true. You have to say it. You have to be super public about it so everybody knows.
So everyone's opinion is tainted.
Yeah.
So that's why I really don't believe her that he was like that. Maybe part of me, I just don't want to believe it. But another part is like, I don't believe accusations anymore because there's way too many of them, and too many have been proven false. And now I'm skeptical of everything I hear.
We can agree that like Chris Brown is a piece of shit for beating up Rihanna, because that was obvious that he was charged, and he probably shouldn't be as famous as he is now. But Mr. Misanthropic just said to keep an eye on my Discord DMs. I don't remember my password, and I don't have anything logged in, so can I like give you my number or something instead? Maybe.
Yeah. Give your number over the airways.
No, not there. Send it to me on Twitter or something, because I don't keep up with Discord. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I pretty much have like quit using Discord altogether because it's just
it doesn't help me. It doesn't, like, I don't engage with anyone anymore than I usually do, and no one comes on there, so I'm just like, whatever. I only just get random messages from people like Mr. Misanthropic sometimes, and Triggers McKnickers, which I feel bad because he wanted to come on the show recently, and I haven't responded to him, but I'm sorry.
But no, that makes me happy to hear about, I guess, what was her name? Amber Heard or whatever. That she's not getting anything. But the problem is that, Johnny Depp's reputation has taken a hit. And people are still going to see his movies. I mean, I don't like Johnny Depp after he said some pretty bad stuff about America. And
really? Oh, I don't want to hear that.
Whatever he actually said, I mean, I do know, I'm just not going to say it. But it's like, I still go and see some of his movies. So I don't think it's going to affect him too much. But if it was anyone else, even if they had proof that it wasn't true, they would have sided with the woman. And I think the only reason why he was able to have his case heard and to be believed is because of his celebrity status, which indicates a larger problem in our country, because unless you have some sort of celebrity status, you're not ever going to be believed.
He should have never gotten married, bro. That's what
No.
fucked everything up. Well, he got married to Vanessa Paradis after they had been together for 13 years. Why would you try to get married after that long?
Well, it's kind of like, God, what is that couple? Ugh. They were like together for a super long time. It was a guy from Escape from L.A., Escape from New York. Kirk Douglas, not Kirk Douglas. Kurt. Ugh, that's
I don't know.
Overboard. I can name all of his movies. He was in Guardian of the Galaxies Volume 2.
Wait, not Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell.
Oh.
Kurt Russell and his supposed girlfriend had been together for like 30 plus years and only recently decided to get married. And it's like, why do you want to do that, dude? There's nothing that benefits you from doing it in your 60s.
Exactly.
Most likely will just end in divorce. Once you put a ring around that finger, everything changes.
Yeah, well, after Johnny Depp got married, they got divorced right away. And then, she fucked him over in that regard. And then the first woman he dates accuses him of domestic violence. Like, people are just taking advantage of him now. And it's really sad.
You know, he needs to go on to Pedophile Island because at least there no one's going to accuse him of rape.
Oh my god. Pedophile Island.
Actually, it's a real thing, or at least it used to be. That was the whole thing about Epstein and all of that. And I'm kidding on that. I do not support that kind of thing. It's like getting so ridiculous now. The only way that you can have a meaningful relationship is in such a way that a person couldn't possibly report you because they'd be reporting themselves. It used to be that way with prostitutes, but now prostitutes are coming forward. What was it? Stormy Daniels came forward and it's like, oh, the president sexually assaulted me.
She's retarded.
Yeah. And I'm sure President Trump had some prostitutes in his life. Do we all remember Bill Clinton? He got his dick sucked in the Oval Office by the ugliest chick possible, but maybe that was his game. He was hoping if he fucked the ugly chicks, they wouldn't dare say anything because they'd be like, hey, I just got laid.
Oh my fucking god.
So, but, and that's the unfortunate thing. It's like, men, we need to swear off dating, period. I mean, if I had money, I'd just be hiring prostitutes because it's a lot safer to fuck a prostitute than to fuck a regular chick because, you know, a prostitute can't exactly go to a court of law. Well, some do, but most of them, they would ruin their own business. And I'm not saying we should rape them, but I mean, if they honestly get please go. But it's like, you know, if you just want straight up sex and you just want like, hey, I'll meet a girl, go and fuck her, and maybe I'll see her again and fuck her again. Do that versus trying to go on a date and hopefully she's not using you for a free meal. If I'm going to be paying $200 for a girl, she better be sucking my dick. I mean, watch Pop, Terrence Pop. He talks about anytime a man gets a divorce, how much each blowjob costed him, how much money it costed him to have sex with her. He really breaks it all down into figures. So it's like every time you spent like $1,000 for every blowjob she ever gave you.
That's pretty steep.
Well, we're talking about these big celebrities, though, that have to pay. Like Robin Williams was paying like several $1,000,000 to all of these women that divorced him.
What?
And he was just a loving person who wanted someone in his life to love him, and so he just kept getting married. He got married 3 times.
Wow.
And all 3 women divorced him, and that's what led to his suicide. Because he couldn't make enough money to keep up with all of that, which was very depressing.
I thought he had a current wife when he died.
No.
What?
He was divorced.
What the fuck was she talking about it, that bitch? She was like, oh, I could see how much he was hurting. Like, I remember reading that shit. And they weren't even together?
Yeah, they had just gotten a divorce, and he was...
What a fucking bitch. Shut the fuck up if you fucking directly caused his suicide, you fucking cunt. Jeez.
Well, he had actually was doing a show called The Crazy Ones, which was a fucking brilliant show. I love that show so much, but they canceled it after 1 season. And that's also what led to his suicide, because he needed that to pay off all of these women.
Wow. That's fucking horrible. I love Robin Williams.
That was a great tragedy when he died.
Yeah.
But, no one's talking about what actually happened to him. I mean, this woman, his first wife, was getting, paid several $1,000,000 a year when they got divorced. And they got divorced, what was it, in the 80s? That's when his first divorce was. And she just gets to live off of him paying her money nonstop. How is that not prostitution? Oh, because he's not getting sex out of it. He got married and now has to keep her standard of living. Alimony should be used, well, it shouldn't be used at all, but if it's going to be used, it needs to be as a rehabilitation, and should be a certain amount a year. Like, you have to pay $40,000 a year until they can get a job, but it only lasts for 5 years at a maximum, maybe 3 years. Because if you can't figure out a new career to get yourself in 3 years, you deserve to be homeless.
Well, damn.
Hey, it's Wikipedia snippet. I haven't seen him in a long while.
Hey.
Or her. I'm not sure which.
How you doing?
You want peanut butter apple tree?
Peanut butter apple tree? And pineapple apple pen. I'm so hungry. Feed me.
Is there a chick living with you?
No, that's Andrew.
What?
He said, is there a chick living with you?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, bye.
Okay, that just sounds gay.
Thrash Metal Savage said he's riding out the storm too. The fence is down at his house. Be safe, bro. I hope that's all the damage that you received.
Yeah, I'm riding out the storm too, but it's a different kind of storm.
The boner storm.
No, I wish a girl was riding on that with me, a boner storm. No, it's just been raining here a lot lately, which sucks because then all the weeds get large and tall, and then I have to go out there and pull them. It's like, I got enough to do. I've got 20 million things to do, and I can't get to any of them. And it's like, oh, there's one additional thing that's going to keep me away from my work.
By the way, I lied earlier. I thought it was still under 30 miles per hour, but it's up to 60 miles per hour now. So, yeah, send help.
Wikipedia snippet would like to see the painting.
Oh. Here is the good side. That's pretty much finished. I don't think I'm going to add anything else except for maybe a couple more highlights to his eyes. I'm going to see him on Saturday. I can't say it out loud because Andrew doesn't know. And then I'm just doing a little message on the back.
So, as we are always talking about, our calendar is coming in November, but we're probably going to shut down the Indiegogo at the end of this month. So, if you haven't gotten your calendar yet, get it now because we're not going to have any extra this year. We didn't quite make how much money we expected to, and it was like the first year we kind of bought a lot more supplies than we needed because I thought it would be a very popular thing, and it wasn't. So it's just going to, and that actually costed us a bit of money too. So we've decided that we're just going to order exactly how much everyone wants and not have any extra. We might have maybe one or two extras, but honestly, it's better to buy it now. So,
yes.
And like we said, we're probably not going to do this again unless, there's just some way we can control the pictures more.
Indeed.
And of course, it still goes to part of the money goes to charity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything that's not the overhead will go to charity. So, and we donated in 2017 to Vets Mentoring Vets. We're very happy to do that. And this year we're doing towards the Movember Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better had we been able to do like a group thing in November, but, things didn't play out that way. We definitely want to try to do some sort of meetup in the near future. And hopefully with our next stage and things that we do, we can make that happen. But I don't know. We're just, we're going to continue with it. This isn't the end of it. It's just we need to shift our focus because a calendar is just way, way complicated.
Yeah.
Moving parts. And that's why no one else has ever really done it before because you'd have to be crazy to do it. And we're doing it twice, so what's that say about us?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, honestly, after this round, I might, we might start something new. We might gravitate away from the lovely ladies and create something that doesn't focus on women because I guess the reason that I made the lovely ladies for the men's movement is for the calendar because obviously I care more about the men than I do about the women. Not that I don't love women, but it's about the men. So if I were to continue doing work in the men's movement, I'd probably do it under something else than the lovely ladies, more than likely. Which I don't know what that would be, but it's something that like you and me, it's one lady and one man. So like, why would we as a group, be the lovely ladies? You know what I mean?
I know. Let's call ourselves the unisex orgy.
Unisex orgy. That sounds like a fucking band name.
Indeed. I actually do have a big project that I'm going to be starting once the calendar is done. And I can't really go into specifics right now. But I think it's going to be a necessary thing for this movement. Something that should have already been done, but I don't know how to reflect upon that, whether it's like maybe we're not as big as we think we are, or I don't know, maybe people are not just really thinking about how to really affect change. And that's a hard thing to do, but I think that this will be a step in the right direction because we need to get the word out there. It's like I said, we can get the word out there. People are talking about it. People are talking about it. They talk to their congressmen about it. Congressmen take it to the Senate. and laws start to be created. So, Paul Elam commented on my photo, or his photo, I guess. My reply.
Who wants to start a band called Unisex Orgy? Let's do it, mister.
I'll play the sarcasm.
Is that an instrument?
It's because Paul Elam was commenting how San Francisco Board of Supervisors named the NRA a terrorist organization. So he decided to join them, and I was like, I looked on their website, and it was like their smallest package was like $45. And I'm like, well, if I had $45, I'd join them in spite of that. I mean, I have nothing against the NRA, but it's like, you're going to label them a terrorist organization, I might as well join them, you know?
That's funny.
So after you donate to Modern Medusa, which kind of helps me out as well, get a membership with the NRA. Wikipedia snippet asks if I'm a fan of Stargate. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Stargate, especially SG-1.
I have to figure out what else to put on this fucking thing.
A dildo.
Oh! He wouldn't like that!
I'm not saying paint one on there. I'm saying glue one on there.
I know! He wouldn't like that either!
But we should probably start wrapping this up.
Yeah, I was gonna say around 10 o'clock we should probably
last this long without her being bumped off.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I've been able to go this long, honestly. So thanks, Mother Nature, for allowing me to rejoin like 3 times.
Well, I mean, this isn't like the with the Steam Labs or whatever it's called. As long as it's transmitting, it doesn't matter which one.
Indeed.
What would the NRA members shout when they blow themselves up? No to gay sex! Boom!
I was gonna say, don't tread on me.
That's probably better. There are only 2 genders! Boom! What other things could they say?
Oh my god.
What would the... Well, they're mostly Republicans anyways, but there are some people on the left in the NRA, so...
Touch my buns, or touch my guns, I fuck your buns.
Boom!
Oh, that's a good one. So windy out. I'd probably die if I went outside right now.
How skinny you are, you'll be blown away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to let Derp outside because I'll just if I let him out on the leash, he'll turn into a balloon or a kite. God, that would be terrifying.
Oh, that wouldn't happen. He'd slip out of his collar.
Ah! Hey,
I have to wow, so I know they easily slip out of the collar.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, that's why I got a harness for him instead.
Yeah, I prefer harnesses, honestly. I hate walking them, and then I feel like I'm choking them, and then they slip out. So it's like, what's the point of this?
Oh. I'm so hungry. I don't know what to eat. I'm probably gonna eat a corn dog.
Apparently, we're so loud that we can be heard through headphones that are not put in someone's ear.
Nice. Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear that. Oh. I'm taking my pet for a fly. That's hilarious. Actually, see, if you had a bird, that would be perfect. Oh, I don't know what else to put on this thing. Do you want to go ahead and show?
Yeah. So, we're still doing the lovely ladies counters. Like I said, you have until the end of the month if you want to buy a calendar or any of the other tiers. Part of the money is going to the Movember Foundation, as we really do want to help them with the suicide rate, with testicular cancer, with prostate cancer, and as well as mental health in general. All of those are areas that really need help. So if you want to help us out, just either donate something or buy something. But you have until the end of this month because we're going to close it down at that point once we order the calendars and the quick reference book. Beyond that, if you do want to support us, me and Medusa do have our links down below, the various things that you can help us with. For me, I'm still trying to raise money for health insurance, but I'm also trying to flip cars right now. So I'm trying to get some money together, about maybe $2,000, so I can buy myself a car, fix it up, and then flip it for a higher price, which will probably help me get insurance a lot faster. So that's probably what the money is going to go towards. So if you donate to me, I'm going to buy a car so I can make it nicer and flip it. Now, you can do that through my Patreon. I'm not popular enough to be hated on Patreon, so you can still donate to that. If you don't feel comfortable doing that because they're basically the hair on Satan's testicles, there's also PayPal. Just donate to my PayPal directly. Appreciate to the person who donated to me last week. I don't want to... everyone makes that joke. Oh, you're going to flip cars? Your arms are going to be tired.
Oh my God.
Seriously, can none of you think of something more original?
Oh my gosh.
Get minded if one or two of you said it, but that's like 10 people have said that to me by now. And it's like, really? Do you think you're original saying that to me? It's just so funny. But anyways, I've got my PayPal down there. Now, if you don't want to do PayPal either, because I think they screw over a lot of us, there is my book, How to Destroy a Woman Now. The book I wrote in protest of how to destroy a man now. That book actually contains illegal shit. Like, it encourages you to commit defamation, creating websites that has people's names on it linked to like rape and murder and things like that. So when a prospective employer looks up their name, they see these articles. It doesn't even matter if they're true. It doesn't even matter if they're legitimate news sources. So long as you Google someone and their name is linked to rape, that's defamation. And that book encourages that. So I'm hoping that my book is so offensive that feminists encourage Amazon to take it down. And when they do, we can say, hey, Amazon, why'd you take this book down, but not this one? So buy the book, give it a bad rating. The worse the rating is, the better. Although people keep giving me 5 stars because they actually think it's well written. Because at the very end of the book, it says, don't do anything in this book. Instead, look at this book of things not to do. So it's only $2.99. I do get some of that money in my pocket. But I'm wanting to get rid of that other book. And this is the only way I can think of how to do it. Piss off the feminists. And Modern Medusa's on the cover.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Optimus Prime's daughter.
I'm Diva. So yeah, you pretty much already showed for me. You know where my links are down below. I'm trying. Well, not trying. I'm going to Charlotte on Saturday. So if you want to help with food or Yes, stuff like that. That would be awesome.
If you
And I
could help her get some whipped cream so she could put it on Andrew's dick and suck it off, she'd greatly appreciate that.
that sounds great, but he probably wouldn't like that. He's not a kinky dude. Oh, Twitter doesn't want fun people. How do I contact you? I mean, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Minds, I'm on mostly Facebook, Twitter, Twitter and
And she'd
Facebook.
be on the street corner, except there's like 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Right. But you can. Where can I get a dick tattoo? I mean, I have a tattoo kit. But yeah.
I want Medusa to do my next tattoo.
Other than that, just. Oh, you messaged me on Patreon? Okay. Well, message me there, I guess. I don't. I don't know. Twitter's the best for me. If you don't have a way to make a new Twitter, I guess you could try messaging my Facebook page or my Snapchat.
Yeah, do Vanessa's custom art. That she's always checking that to see if people want to hire her.
No, that's just for art inquiries. If you're asking about something else, then it would be Modern Medusa. But yeah, it depends on what you want to talk about. Twitter is the best for Patreon related things, but we'll see. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I can't believe we still have 10 viewers. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, if you want to see what happens on Saturday, because it's going to be really awesome, make sure you subscribe and check out all of my social links and such. And we'll see you next week on Thursday for the next Macho show. It'll be episode 30. We'll see what we do. Maybe I'll have 3 tits. We'll see.
You mean it will be XXX?
Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, and I will see you later. Peace.